Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. This Saturday, the Warriors face the Lakers and need to win to climb the Western Conference standings. The Warriors need reinforcements so that this team can reach the playoffs. Warriors want to close a deal for a big man from the Chicago Bulls. Despite a hot start to the 2024-25 season, the Golden State Warriors quickly fell back to earth. Currently, the team sits at the 11th seed with a 22-22 win-loss card. The injuries started to hit, and the team's young guns weren't exactly ripe enough to be in a win-now situation. Let's not forget that Stephen Curry's window is closing, and he could really use some help. By now, the team should have realized that their roster needs some changes if they want to bring home another title to the Bay Area. With the trade deadline approaching, here is what the Warriors' dream scenario should look like. Getting some much-needed help for Stephen Curry. By now, the Warriors' front office should have realized that the best shooter in the world needs help as soon as possible. The Warriors are struggling to stay in playoff contention, as they've been demoted to the play-in conversation. As it stands, only Curry is averaging at least 20 points per game on this roster. The next major contributor is Andrew Wiggins, who's been putting up 17.0 points per outing. Furthermore, it also doesn't help that youngsters have been slightly disappointed. Brandon Podziemski is having a sophomore slump. On the other hand, Jonathan Kuminga went down with a serious ankle injury that will sideline him for a couple of weeks. Without offensive weapons, the Warriors' championship hopes are currently in hot water. However, with the trade deadline approaching, the Warriors' front office can still pull off some roster moves to possibly salvage the season. Warriors succeed in landing Nikola Vucevic. Warriors receive Nikola Vucevic, $20 million, Talon Horton-Tucker, $2.1 million, and Julian Phillips, $1.9 million. Bulls receive Gary Payton II, $9.1 million, Kyle Anderson, $8.8 million, Kevin Looney, $8 million, 2025 first-round draft pick, GSW, 2031 first-round draft pick, GSW. With Golden State looking to salvage their season, a third star is essential for their championship hopes. As a result, it would be ideal for the Warriors to trade for Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic has been in the trading block, given that the Bulls are leaning towards a rebuild. The 6'10" big man is having a stellar season, averaging 20.1 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game. He is also shooting a career-best 41.2% from beyond the arc. Vucevic should give the Warriors a shot in the arm, especially at the frontcourt. Moreover, his outside shooting will provide more space, making life easier for the players to run Kerr's system. But more importantly, his presence should reduce the offensive load on the best shooter in the world. For the deal to take place, the Warriors could throw in Gary Payton II, Kyle Anderson, and Kevin Looney. However, the real prize for the Bulls will be the pair of first-round draft picks that will boost their draft capital. While Payton II and Looney were championship pieces, the former is often injured, while the latter isn't the type of big man the team needs right now. And as for Anderson? Well, he's fallen out of Kerr's rotation entirely, making a move feel rather likely. It would be a dream scenario for the Warriors, given that they don't have to give up any of their franchise building blocks in their present core to land another star. The move also allows them to go all in without giving up the likes of Jonathan Kuminga, Podziemski, or Moses Moody. Moving on from the Dennis Schroeder experiment. Warriors receive Josh Green, $12.7 million. Hornets receive Dennis Schroeder, $13 million. Earlier in the 2024-25 season, the Warriors made a trade for Dennis Schroeder to fill the void of an injured DeAnthony Melton. Fast forward to today, the gamble hasn't looked pretty. Right from the get-go, there were already questions surrounding Schroeder's fit in Golden State. In a Warriors uniform, the German guard has averaged 10.4 points per game while shooting 36% from the field overall and 28.4% from beyond the arc. Although Schroeder has struggled, the Warriors could still utilize him as a trade asset. Although Schroeder had just been traded, an exception in the CBA could see him change teams once more, according to a report by SF-Gate. Prior to the deadline, the Warriors can flip him for a serviceable wing like Josh Green of the Charlotte Hornets. Green is a 5-year NBA veteran who can possibly reinforce the Warriors better with his two-way play. Furthermore, he also possesses some playoff experience, having helped the Dallas Mavericks make it to the 2024 NBA Finals. So far this season, the 6'5" swingman is averaging 6.9 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 1.1 steals per game. He is also shooting a decent 39.4% from beyond the arc and would be a natural fit in Golden State. Steve Kerr sends clear message to Warriors guard amid growing trade speculation. This role change could be pivotal. After being an obvious trade target for the Golden State Warriors leading into the eventual deal with the Brooklyn Nets last month, Dennis Schroeder's time with his new team hasn't gone according to plan. The awkward fit between Schroeder's pick-and-roll style and Steve Kerr's motion offense has been more glaring than first thought, leading to the veteran guard's move to the bench against the Sacramento Kings on Wednesday night. Dennis Schroeder delivered an improved performance on Thursday amid growing trade rumors. Schroeder's first performance off the bench against the Kings was underwhelming to say the least, having recorded 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists while committing 5 turnovers and shooting 3 of 8 from the floor in 21 minutes. Prior to Thursday's game against the Chicago Bulls, Anthony Slater of The Athletic joined FanDuel's NBA show Run It Back to deliver the latest on Golden State's trade situation. That included mentioning Schroeder as a possible candidate to be moved again in the next fortnight, such has been his less-than-ideal fit with the Warriors. While his 11-point, 7-assist performance against the Bulls didn't necessarily jump off the page as a major storyline from the 131-106 victory, Kerr made sure to make special note of Schroeder during the post-game press conference. "I thought Dennis was fantastic. That's the guy who I've watched for years. He's a competitor, he plays with an edge, he got after it defensively tonight, he pushed the ball. I thought Dennis played a huge role in that win," Kerr said. Perhaps this was a clear message to Schroeder on how the Warriors want him to play, and perhaps a specific word of encouragement now that he's moved back to a bench role. While there hasn't been a whole lot made of the transition to the bench with so much centered around the performances of Quinton Post and Gue Santos, it can't be overly easy for Schroeder, who just weeks ago was putting up the best numbers of his career in Brooklyn. It's also important to note that the 31-year-old is still playing for his next contract, with Schroeder set to become a free agent during the offseason. Based on his start with Golden State, it would appear unlikely that he'll re-sign and return for a full year with the franchise next season. However, there's still plenty of time for things to turn around. Given he's not trade eligible till February 5th, Schroeder still has at least 5 games to convince the Warrior front office not to move him and his $13 million expiring contract again before the deadline.